Okay, let's try and unpack this. Have you ever encountered an idea just so bold it genuinely tries to unify, well, everything, the whole fabric of existence? You know, from the tiniest particle right up to these really profound spiritual concepts.
Mhm.
Today, we're diving into a truly unique perspective. It merges physics, mathematics, and some, frankly, pretty startling theological claims in ways you might not have imagined before.
Yeah, what's really fascinating here, I think, is how our source material, these excerpts from Shepping,
Mm-hmm.
energy, Materion Geist, it doesn't just hint at connections, it lays out a whole cosmology. Where fundamental forces, spiritual entities, they're all intertwined through very specific equations, specific definitions.
Right.
It's really a journey into a system where absolutely everything is interconnected. By design, it seems.
Exactly. And that's a key point. Our mission here in this deep dive isn't just to, list off these claims. We want to understand how this text actually builds its reality. I mean, think about it. A definition like 4D equals
Wow.
JVCS4. And that leads directly to something called energetische materie, energetic matter,
Mm-hmm.
or how the farad, usually the unit for electrical capacitance.
Yeah, capacitance.
Here it's described as converting energy into compressed matter through something called overcapacitance.
Overcapacitance, right? A sort of supercapacitance state, maybe?
Seems like it. And then here's where it gets really mind-bending. The source just states it. The crux of action in mathematics explained our existence.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it pushes even further than that. It asserts that the matter is created by the energy release of the intersection, an intersection of specific mathematical expressions,
Yeah.
apparently.
Okay.
And then this is the huge leap, right? Both theological and cosmic. It states that God was created because the intersection formed JC. Yeah, JC. It's clearly a central, maybe the foundational concept here. It's repeatedly described as the roulation current materia space.
Relation current matter space.
And
Yeah.
even more strikingly, the Holy Spirit is charged energy, which means it is JC, flowing matter space-time,
So JC is the Holy Spirit.
which is flowing matter space-time.
It's got it.
Well, it's an incredibly ambitious, totally self-contained explanation for everything, all of reality.
Okay, wow. So, what does all this actually mean for you, listening in, for you, our curious learner? Well, it means we're going to try and break down how this text defines literally everything from, say, the basic nature of matter, like with equations such as matter equal Jx or TD is well, JFM.
Quite a combination of units there.
Right, or even defining time itself, usually cents for seconds.
Yeah.
Here it's expressed as S, but defined uniquely as Ca equals S, capacitance over current equals time.
Right. A completely different way to frame time.
We'll show you how this whole unique framework tries to connect the universe's physical operations directly to its spiritual origins, all based on these very specific relationships and equations laid out in the text. It's a very different way of seeing things.
That's definitely different.
So to really get our heads around this cosmology, we need to start with its foundations, right? The basic building blocks. Let's begin with maybe the most striking equation it presents right off the bat. 4D equals JVC as S4.
Okay.
Now, in this particular system, 4D isn't just, spatial dimensions like we normally think of them. The source seems to define it as some kind of core energetic framework. But how does that actually become something tangible?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. The initial equation, the 4D equals as JVC SS4, it sort of gives birth to this idea of energetic matter.
Yeah.
The source then builds right on that,
Right.
seating 4D SS4 equals energetische materie.
Okay, so you multiply that 4D framework by time to the fourth power.
Yes, S4. And according to this theory, you mathematically define this new kind of existence,
Mm-hmm.
energetic matter. It's not just a philosophical idea for them, it's presented as the mathematical blueprint for it, a specific underpinning.
That is a pretty profound conceptual jump. And it doesn't just stop there with matter, does it? I mean, the text gives us a few definitions for it.
That's right, several.
Like we saw matter equals IIEOUA XMR equals JFM1, which is, a very specific mix of units. It implies matter isn't just static mass, but something dynamic, energy, volume, time.
Exactly. It seems to suggest a process, not just a thing.
And then elsewhere, we see JSXO XM4 equals matter, another formulation, and even a much more concise one, VC equals matter. Voltage over capacitance equals matter.
Right.
So how do all these different facets of matter fit together in this system? Are they different kinds or different ways of looking at it?
That's a really good question. The text doesn't seem to present them as contradictions. It's more like they're different perspectives, maybe different manifestations of matter, but all arising from the same underlying principles.
Okay.
And this brings up a crucial point the source makes. The matter is created by the energy release of the intersection.
Ah, the intersection again.
Yes, an intersection of specific mathematical terms, like it mentions the CMAX, CMKA. So matter itself is framed as a product of these fundamental energetic, well, collisions or intersections.
Right, right. Now, this is where it just gets astounding, really. This whole idea of intersection, it isn't just about making physical stuff, is it?
No, not at all.
The source takes this concept and stretches it dramatically, links it right to existence itself, stating, again, the crucifixion in mathematics explained our existence.
A very loaded term, crucifixion, used mathematically.
Extremely. And then it goes even further, right into the divine, with that incredible claim we mentioned. God was created because the intersection formed JC.
Truly remarkable.
Yeah.
And this JC, it's clearly the absolute linchpin of this whole cosmology.
It has to be.
The source just keeps defining it. The roulation current materie space. It's like the core, flowing, maybe rotating essence of matter and space itself. Not static, but dynamic. Fundamental.
A roulation current.
And we connect that to the bigger picture. The source explicitly equates this JC with the Holy Spirit. It says, the Holy Spirit is charged energy, which means it is JC, flowing matter, space-time.
Wow.
So within this very specific framework, the spiritual and the physical, they're literally the same thing.
Yeah.
The same flowing, charged energy, JC.
That's a staggering assertion that JC is the cosmically
Yeah.
charged energy, literally flowing matter space-time. And the source even gives an equation for it, right?
Something like JC equates X equals M.
Right.
It is provided.
Right. Frequency times current times mass divided by area squared.
And it seems so based on the units.
Yeah.
And then there are related ones like JC XMIG equals X great XA Z cubed times area squared equals voltage times current squared. It's all incredibly specific. Or like a grand unified equation for the divine essence itself.
It really does feel like that's the attempt.
And another really fascinating piece of this system is the role of the farad. You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, the capacitance unit.
The source states 1 farad equals M. So the inverse of capacitance equals mass, or maybe matter in their context.
Could be matter, given the other equations.
And it explains why. It says farad is the capacitance of electricity. So by overcapacitance, does it convert energy into compressed matter?
Right, the overcapacitance.
So it's presenting a direct mechanism, a definable process for how energy turns into matter. This state of overcapacitance, perhaps capacitance exceeding some threshold, leads to a physical compression, manifestation of matter from energy.
Okay, that's a mechanism, all right? A very specific one tied to electrical concepts.
And the text includes other equations linking it all, like C, Jx farad, charge squared equals joules times farad, and C, farad xv, charge equals farad times voltage. It shows how deeply integrated capacitance is into its definitions of energy, charge, and ultimately matter.
So, okay, we've seen how this text tries to redefine matter, the divine, even the mechanism of creation itself through these intersections and overcapacitance. But what about something as fundamental as time? You mentioned the definition CA equals S.
Yes, capacitance divided by current equals time, seconds. It's good. Well, it's radically different from just measuring duration.
It connects time intrinsically to electrical properties, to charge flow.
Exactly. It makes time part of the same interconnected electrical energetic system as everything else.
And you said there was more about time, something about 2 times.
Ah, yes. What's really fascinating here is that the definition doesn't stop with CAS. The source adds that 2 different times have shaped the present.
2 different times? How?
It explains it by saying the preceding tense had intersected with the future tense, which you call the present.
Okay, so the past and future intersects to create now.
That seems to be the idea. It implies a dynamic, almost, collisional nature to the present moment, built from temporal intersections, which, again, reinforces that core concept in the text. Existence, time itself, they're products of these foundational intersections, just like matter, just like, apparently, God or JC.
Everything comes from an intersection. Wow. And speaking of fundamental operations, the source also lays out some other interactions, right, like collisions.
It does. It mentions how colliding VA with VA does create W-body.
VA, volt-ampere. So power colliding with power.
Seems like it, yes. VA is a unit of apparent power. Colliding them creates W-walk, watts squared, or power squared, suggesting some kind of intensified power output from the interaction.
Interesting. And current.
Current gets a definition, too. The current A equals CXF. Current equals capacitance times frequency.
CX, okay, that links current directly to charge storage capacity and oscillation rate.
Plus it defines the energy of space-time, flowing matter, charge.
The energy of space-time. is flowing matter divided by charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just all these incredibly intricate, interconnected formulas, all seemingly aimed at explaining the very fabric of reality, from the most abstract principles down to concrete things like current and matter.
It really does try to weave together a comprehensive, totally self-contained system.
Absolutely. Where every single aspect, energy, matter, time, the divine, it's all expressed through these precise mathematical and physical relationships.
Yeah.
It's a unified theory, all right, just from an incredibly unique and some might say audacious perspective.
As we kind of emerge from this really distinctive deep dive, it's definitely clear that Shepping, energy, Meturing, and Geest offers a cosmology that really demands we reevaluate, or at least think about, the boundaries we usually place between the physical and the metaphysical.
Definitely. And if we try to connect it all back to the bigger picture presented, the source is so meticulous in presenting this universe where concepts like energetic materie, well, they're derived directly from 4D ECS 4. And matter itself is defined specifically by equations like JS carry XM4, really highlighting its dynamic nature, not just static stuff.
Right.
It's a system where these fundamental interactions, like colliding VA with VA does create WRA, or even the definition of current as ACXF, they all contribute to this grand unified picture.
Mm-hmm.
And those really bold assertions we talked about, that the matter is created by the energy release of the intersection, specifically mentioning the 2 CMA, and of course that God was created because the intersection formed JC. These are absolutely central to its entire framework. You can't ignore them.
No, you really can't. And let's not forget how JC is just constantly defined as the relation current materie space.
Yeah.
And how the Holy Spirit is charged energy, which means it is JC, it is flowing matter space-time. It just keeps coming back to that. This text posits a universe where physics, math, even specific equations like VC equals matter, they're directly linked to what it sees as profound spiritual truths.
Yeah.
It even states, as you said, that 2 different times have shaped the present, that the preceding tense had intersected with the future tense, what you call the present, which, when you combine that with the crux of fiction and mathematics explained our existence, offers this deeply interwoven, almost, poetic isn't quite right, but a very structured explanation for all of reality.
It is very structured. And this raises, I think, an important question for you, our listener. How might viewing these fundamental concepts, energy, matter, time, spirit, tactri, how might viewing them as components of a single mathematically and physically defined system like the one laid out in this source, how might that alter your understanding of existence?
That's the core question, isn't it?
It is. And the source doesn't just stick to physics and math. It includes a specific prediction, apparently from June 2020. It's in Dutch, but it says, God zal aan het einde van de tijd zijn geest over alle mensen geven. Zoals beloofd gaf God de Heilige Geest alvorens te Jezus en dat ziet en hoort u nu, dan zal ieder die de naam van de Shega hier aanroept gehoord worden.
Okay, and the translation is roughly.
Roughly. God will give his spirit to all people at the end of time. As promised, God gave the Holy Spirit before Jesus, and you see and hear that now, that everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. So it invites you to consider how this text integrates that kind of specific theological prophecy right into its unique scientific spiritual framework. It suggests maybe a continuous unfolding revelation through these very physical and mathematical principles it lays out.
A truly thought-provoking deep dive, then, into a very, very distinct way of looking at the universe and, well, our place in it. It certainly challenges us to think about where those boundaries between science and spirituality actually lie. Or if, in this view, they're even boundaries at all. Maybe they're the same thing.
Potentially.
We really hope this exploration has given you some surprising new insights to ponder.